Hello and welcome to Python tutorial number 82. In last week's video we saw how to create a root screen, or in other words the main video of our GUI. So today we're going to learn how to calibrate additional parameters such that the window is not only visible but also displays correctly and is appropriately sized. Let's start from where we left off last week and add one more line which goes root.geometry. Now the input of the function is a string formatted as you can see here. First we have the width, then the height, and finally the x and y displacements. By this we mean of course how far from the upper left-hand side of our screen we want to place the upper left-hand corner of our window. As with standard Cartesian coordinates, the x value represents the horizontal distance and the y value represents the vertical. Oh, and by the way, all values, both width, height, x and y, are expressed in number of pixels. So if any of you do not know how many pixels your screen has, please make sure to pause the video and check out those values first, as they will be essential later on in our code. As an example for today, we could write root geometry 600 times, for example, 300 plus 50 plus, let's say, 80. And then if we run the code, we can see that the window has indeed been created according to the dimensions and distances we have provided. We could also ensure that the window is placed in the middle of our screen by writing as follows. First of all, we remove this line and say window underscore width equals 600, then window underscore height equals 300, and then we say screen width equals root dot winfo underscore screen width, then screen height equals root dot winfo underscore screen height. And finally we can say center underscore x will be equals to an integer of screen width minus window width divided by 2, and then center y will be equals to int screen height minus window height divided by 2. And finally, root dot geometry of an f string that says window width times window height plus center x plus center y. In this case, we have established how wide and how high our window should be. Then we've captured the dimensions of the screen and used those dimensions to calculate the horizontal and vertical offset of the window. Finally, we've used an f string to provide the correct input to our geometry function. We can now run the code and we can see that the window has been created in the center of the screen as expected. I can resize it as normal however I wish, as well as move it around the screen. Now the ability to resize a screen may not always be desirable. So in our code we can include an additional line which says root.resizable false, false, because of course we have to give it the input for both directions, x and y. Now if we run the code, It doesn't allow our window to be resized in any way. However, I can of course still move it around the screen. Now this would technically be the end of today's video. However, for all of you who have followed me this far, I will now show you a special trick that can be used to change the little icon in the top left-hand side of your window. First of all, make sure you have a file in .ico format. You can find online many conversion tools, so if you have any file in PNG, JPG, JPEG formats, then you can convert them directly online as I did. Then in your code you can write root.icon bitmap of, in this case my file is called logo.ico, and then running the code, hey presto, you can see that when you launch your window, the logo has indeed been changed. In this case, I have put the Coding Specs logo in, but you may of course use any image you prefer. Having said that, we have now genuinely come to the end of the video. I hope you liked it, and if so, please make sure to like, share and subscribe. As always, don't forget to check out my coding challenges and previous tutorials. And until next time, happy coding!